Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. I am joined with the John Stranley and the Greg Elsing, and we're going to get into last week's record viewing attendance with our shop tour of Fair Valley Performance, but we talk about Butch Krieger. John, I don't know if there's a more familiar voice in the sport of truck and tractor pulling over the last, 40 years than Butch Krieger. Greg, I mean, you've been around. I'm not calling you old, Stranley, but you've been around a while, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Louisville, I mean, everything. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of a Wisconsin, Iowa guy, until like the last 5-6 years, but I haven't been to all the Bowling Greens and all the I guess I've been to a lot of Louisvilles, but Butch was known worldwide. I mean, and he passed away a few days ago, I believe, the 25th, I think is what I saw on Facebook. Was that Thursday night or Friday night, guys? I forget. So
I don't know. I actually just seen it today or yesterday, okay. I think. The first time.
So, but I'm just a legendary announcer in the sport of truck and tractor pulling. And in pulling it is big, but it's also it's a small world too, if you guys know what I'm saying. Everybody kind of knows everybody. But Butch was a big deal. He announced all the national pulls, and if you ever got to announce, work with Butch or announce with Butch, I know John's got to work with him up in Hillsboro. This is a picture of him and Stacy Butts and Dan Mayer, and Butch is driving the John Deere there. I'm not sure who's hiding behind you there, Stranley. Is that a passenger or what?
That's Dan Mayer's son.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, he come with quite a few times, and yeah, that was a great weekend up there at Hillsboro with Stacy and Dan and Butch. We all took turns. We had a lot of fun. That was a good weekend.
Yeah, but our thoughts with Butch's family, of course, his sons Miles and Jeremy. That's who we're all familiar with in the pulling world, and just a lot of great people associated with the Krieger family and in the sport of truck and tractor pulling. So hopefully they can do something nice for him at Louisville. I would assume all the big pulls guys next year are going to have a tribute, and I'm sure Butch is in every Hall of Fame there is already. But if he hasn't been, he will be, and just a great guy. I think he was 75 years old, is what I saw, if I kind of did the math. And I normally Elsing would pick on me about my math skills, but maybe he might be nice to me because we're talking about somebody passing away.
You have no math skills.
Anyway, we do this every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're talking about the Badger State Tractor Pullers. We call our show Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. You guys named it. The very first episode was 2 or 3 months ago, and we went on there and said, what do we want to call it? And here we are. And last week was the biggest show we've ever had. Greg and John have been talking about the shop tours and working with our sponsors, and they went to Fair Valley Performance last week, and we got, behind the scenes, John got to, spin a turbo wheel, and I'm sure a little bit of beer was drank once the cameras went down or while the cameras were happening. I'm assuming it was a good time, fellas. So,
yeah, it was a good shop tour. One of the best.
Awesome. Well, the numbers, guys, were huge. The views were just huge. I hope Dennis and his team, and they deserve that. I mean, Fair Valley's been supporting not just Badger State truck and tractor pullers, but truck and tractor pulling everywhere, guys. When I heard they sponsored the Outlaws. I was out there a lot with them this summer. Greg, I hear their name at Toma. Not just Badger State stuff. I hear them just pulling wide, and what Dennis and Jenny and that family have done. I remember going to diesel injection service on Sun Prairie back in the 90s, picking up parts from my dad's D21 when he still worked there. Then when he moved over to the barn, and now they're across the street with the second shop. So just pretty neat. And kudos to you, Greg and John, for putting that all together. So
yeah, an hour was barely enough to get through there in that shop, and there was a lot of interesting stuff. And we needed more time, but an hour's all we got, so we got her done.
Well, we can start. I mean, if we do more shop tours, Greg, we can move the show up. You know what I mean? Next time. So
we could. We'll see how they go. I mean, Dennis had a lot of stuff there to look at. I don't know if everybody will have that much, but he had a lot of stuff and a lot of interesting pieces. And I got texts and messages from people that watched it and said that was neat. One of the neatest things they've watched.
Yep. Well, I think anytime when people can see behind the scenes and check it out, the sled one was nice. We had what's the sled guy's name we had on a couple weeks ago?
Josh Jacobs. Yep.
Josh, he was down in Florida, but we showed a lot of the stuff up on Facebook.
Right. And we'll probably go tour his sled shop and actually talk to Von Bauer about going to his, and we can go out there and see his, and Brandon Bungart, we can go theirs and kind of get them guys all on the same tour. I'll let everybody know what we're going to do is we're going to video some of it, and then at the last 20 minutes or something, do live with them like we're doing right now.
Yep.
Because there's no way I'm driving everywhere all over the country every Monday night. I'm not doing it.
What?
For now.
John and I thought you were committed, Greg.
I am. Well, you have to give me a Chinook helicopter is what Mike or John Link told me. He said, you got to get a Chinook helicopter. You can dress it out like a camper inside and land wherever you got to do your show and move on to the next one.
You think you'd still remember how to fly a helicopter?
I think I could figure it out.
Okay.
Yep.
Like right away, or should we let you take it up by yourself at first before you take us for a ride? Or
well, when you're a crew chief in the Army fixing a helicopter, after you fix it, you have to ride in it the first time. You know that, right? So I said, or fly. The pilots let me fly. So yeah.
No, that's
Better
awesome.
up my life insurance.
Yeah.
What's that, John?
I better up my life insurance.
Yep.
Why? Well, if you are, put my name on.
I mean, hey, Greg, you are talking to a mini rod puller that's asking for more life insurance. That should be a clue. That's all I'm going to say, buddy.
Does your life insurance work when you're on the track with a mini rod?
I don't know. I don't want to test it out either. Then you guys never be able to tell.
Right.
He got hit by a car on the walking from home. So
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Enough about sad stuff. Let's talk about fun stuff. First of all, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I only gained 2 pounds over the holidays, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And I got back on the wagon today. John, what's your favorite thing at the Thanksgiving table?
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie. You look like a pumpkin pie type of a guy, Stanley. That's a compliment. Don't read into that. Greg,
right.
What's your favorite thing to eat at the Thanksgiving?
It depends if the stuffing is made right with gravy on it. That's the stuffing, mashed potato, everything. I eat it all. Who cares?
Right. Yeah, you're not picky, right?
No, I like it.
I like it all. I like it all as well. Oh, I like
right.
it all as well. No, but go ahead.
Caramel apple pie at the end this year, though, too. I took that, not the pumpkin. Usually I'm pumpkin or pecan pie. But I tried that caramel apple. That was good. Yep.
Let's start a poll right now in the comments. I want to hear apple or pumpkin pie. What's your go-to? We got to get that going out there. We'll get that going. So,
yep.
All good. It's banquet season, guys. Everybody's talking about the banquets. Of course, we had big news last weekend from the Lucas Oil banquet in Indy. Greg, you were down there for that. We talked about that a little bit last Monday night. But the Badger State banquet is it was so intimidating for my first one. I remember the ones back at the winter. Was it the Wintergreen, that little white one, kind of by the mall now? Elsie?
Yep. Wintergreen, and when I first started, it was in Janesville, and there was about 40 people, 30 people, maybe 10 of us ate. Then it moved to by the Coliseum, the hotel by the Coliseum there. I forget what it's called, but that was 1 or 2 years there. And then we went to Ho Chunk, and then to Wintergreen, and then Chula Vista, and now we've been at Wilderness, and they've treated us the best of all of them.
Yeah, and it's amazing to watch it how much it's grown, Greg. The amount of people, and the banquet's so professional, so well put together. But I kind of want to dive in tonight, Greg, to the rules meeting and some of like behind the scenes stuff that, unless you're a puller, you've probably never been to a rules meeting and you really don't quite decide how rules are put together in like a general assembly. So if you could kind of walk us through that, and then John can, him and Stacy always announce the banquet and, put on a good show. And I have some pictures to share up on the screen from last year's banquet of all the awards winners and different things like that. But kind of, Greg, is there a certain time that rules need to be submitted to the Badger State board, to your class rep? How does all that work?
This is the only time that you can change a competition rule is at our banquet. You can change safety rules at any point of the year, but competition rules have to be changed at the banquet, and they will be. What happens is we have our meeting, our general membership meeting, and we kind of go over some things, anywhere from social media, what we're doing, to merchandise, to, I know one of the things this year is going to be fuel and tires. That's going to be brought up. But what happens is all this is brought up and talked about, and then the class, we have a breakout session where you break out and you sit with your class. Everybody in your classmates you might have something to talk about. Some classes might not have anything to talk about. It's all good. What happens then is we bring it back. Everybody gets back together in general membership meeting, and the classes they'll kind of vote which way. What happens is the rules are only changed by the executive board of directors, or the board of directors, not the executive board, the board of directors. So you make sure that when your class votes on who you want as your class rep, them people are supposed to represent what the class wants, not necessarily what they want themselves. But if the majority of the class say, I don't want something as a pro stocks, but everybody else does, so I've got to go along with whatever they say I should. I could be different and say, no, I'm the class rep. We're not doing that. No, I wouldn't do that. But you got to make sure you're voting people in there that are going to do what the class wants. And then we have our executive board meeting after that, and decisions are made, and then they're announced at the banquet later in the evening.
I know there's been years, Greg, where it's pretty quiet, and there's been years where it's been pretty chatty with some new stuff. What are you kind of like? Are the tires, the fuel going to really be exciting this year, or have a lot of guys talked about it ahead of time? What are you feeling?
The tires, the Mitas tires will pass because Lucas Oil passed them. Our rule is, see why NTPA did the thing they did. They said the rules they don't pass the rules when they come out of the mold. Well, you cut them after that, so you have to vote on how the tire shows up at the event.
Correct.
Not where it was made in the factory. I don't care what happened there, but you cut them down to make them work or whatever they have to do. Is what our thoughts were at the Lucas Oil banquet, and that's my thoughts for Badger State too. I want to measure them the day you're there. You showed up to pull with these tires; they better be legal. If they're not, we've had the situation 2 years ago. We seen a set of tires that were probably not right, and we made him. He changed them. We were good about it. We didn't take his points away or anything like that. We just said, you got to get them right. Don't do it again, But it was all handled correctly.
Yeah, I saw it this summer with the Outlaws too, Greg. You can. If you call somebody out and you guys don't talk about ahead of time, and if they are illegal, you can. Is it a year and a day? Is that the rule that you guys that a puller can be removed? If
somebody would have protested them tires, it would have been a year and a day.
I thought so. And the fact that you allowed that puller to get them changed, but you just didn't want to see them at the next event. I think that's right. The fairest way of doing it. Nobody wants to see anybody get kicked out. I think at the end of the day, we're all doing this because we love it, and we want to compete and we want to have the best stuff. But I know that's what. But I don't think the average fan really gets to see some of this stuff. Like NASCAR, they'll talk about rules and stuff like that. And I really wanted people to understand that that's how it worked. That stuff. So. Right.
And the fuel thing, I think. If it passes, if we go to VP fuel only, I know some people don't like that, but I also have to look at it to keep our tech guys, make it easier on them. So they don't have to come up with a different scenario on everything all the time. This is VP fuel this is the baseline here, and it can't be changed. I put lubricity I use VP fuel and I put lubricity in it, and it does not change the test at all. So, that somebody says, well, it's my lubricity changing. No, it's not. We've tried all that. And we've told people, bring your fuel, what you're going to do with us. If you want us to test it. But if you're doing this, you're fine. And it's no different than water with cutting oil only in the water. we have them rules in place. If they want to change them, we won't enforce them. But if you're going to put a rule in the rule book, we are going to enforce it. And I think our club does a better job of that than any club.
I think you do, because in 2013, my first year with Hot Farm, I tried some of that hot shot, triple shot water from Salandine, and a bunch of us were doing it in the Hot Farm class, and we got caught. We're like, hey, we thought we were cool, and they said nope, and we lost our points for that night. But we never ever wanted to get kicked out of Badger State or anything like that. We wanted to be part of it. So
can I tell them about teching your tractor that time I had you pull the air off from the seat?
Please do, Greg.
Yeah, it is a funny story, right?
It's actually very funny. So,
so Jason's in the seat, and I said, "Well, you got to get up in the seat in there and pull your air shut off from the seat. Everybody's got a knob on the dash you can pull your air shut off with." Jason was reaching around behind the seat trying to pull it. I said, "You can't do it," and I let him try it for a long time.
Because you're a nice guy. Because you're a nice guy, Greg.
But that's a lesson you never forgot, right?
No. And you were, you have mentioned it. Well, I don't know, every time you see me, but other than that, I mean, you really haven't brought it up much in a while.
But I've never brought it up in big public like this, right? It is funny.
No, I was so nervous. It was like the first time I've ever had, tractor at a Badger State pull, and Greg Elsing, the president, comes over to check my tractor, and I was all nervous, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pull the air shut off, because the tech officials come up and pull it from behind, and I thought that's what you wanted me to do, but I didn't. I knew there was a knob up there. I mean, I don't do a lot on my own tractor. I admitted that. I admit that rarely. So, yeah, John, you put a little prayer for me, Stranley. I want to thank you for that, buddy. I want to thank you.
Well, I'd like to say about the Badger State banquet and being involved in pulling for so many years and rule meetings with different organizations. I like the fact that each class sits and votes on their own rules. So, if I'm the Super Farm class, I'm not voting on your limited pro rules, Jason, or the pro stock rules. I got no business being in there. I just worry about Super Farm and kind of transferred that over when I was president of Tri-County. We did that ceased all the bickering. You just vote on your class. You got, stake in the class. You got money in the game, skin in it, and that's all you vote on, other than your regular safety rules and that. And that's, I think it cuts the chase and a lot of stuff.
It cut down the arguing in the meeting. Our meetings are quiet, done, move right on, and it is good. Very seldom do we have to explain everything, But what every class does, every class rep though is on the executive board. Remember, and we have two at large, which is Dirk Jury and Steve Johnsrud. Two at large people. Everybody votes on the rules though.
Yep.
But
at the board in the boardroom.
At the boardroom, but the class reps pretty much. Whatever they want to do usually will happen. A couple times, like say the Hot Farm class wanted to go 24.5 tires last year, and I said, you guys, you can buy Firestone tires for $2,500, but you're not gonna. You're gonna go out and buy whole shots or whatever, guys, right? So you're really shooting yourself in the foot here. I asked the guy that brought it up to me. I said, yeah, you're not gonna go buy Firestones for $2,500. You're gonna go out and buy the top dollar tires.
Yep.
The only way I would have entertained that rule as if we would have said Firestones only.
Right.
And I know a couple of clubs that have done that now for them starter classes.
Yep. No, and that's fair. And I like the board of directors, John and Greg, for that. So a class might come up with a rule, or they might come up with a change. But Greg, you might know something nationally that the local guys don't know, and you are going to know that that's probably not the best thing for that class over the next couple of years. And I don't think it's happened a lot, but you're more aware of what's going on nationally, so you're able to say, hey guys, I know they want to do this, but man, it's tough. And, I always wanted 24.5s for Hot Farm when I had a Hot Farm, and you always said, listen, you guys all look the same anyway. I need something, that looks a little bit different.
Right.
So, and it's hard for the average fan. And John, you'll admit that. I mean, if you didn't announce and know everybody, Stranley, from a Super Farm to Limited Pro rolls up to the line until they start to rev it up a little bit, you wouldn't be sure. You know what I mean? What was coming up. So it's nice to see that break it up.
There's too many classes that look just alike.
Yeah.
There is.
It's hard not to say that before. If you have a 966 or a 1066 tractor and a light limited, a Hot Farm, Super Farm, Limited Pro, Pro Stock, Light Pro, and you line them all up and have the average guy tell you the difference. If I walked him out there and said, tell me the difference, and he'd point out the Hot Farm and say, well, them tires are different. other than that, it's a 966 International, and I don't know what it is till, you see it run, and then, as an announcer, you explain the differences then, and then you can tell the horsepower difference, once if you pulled all of them together, boom, one after another, you definitely see it all, but it is hard. It makes it difficult as an announcer.
Well, it is, but it's and that's one thing too, Greg, where just because 5 or 6 guys get together and they want to try to take over a class, if you will, that's where the board can come in and say no, and that's why we have too many classes in pulling, Greg. And I'm not talking just about Badger State, but over the years, guys have kept wanting to move up their classes. There's a natural progression,
right?
And when you're a hot farm, someday you say I want to have a pro stock. And when you're a pro stock, someday you just say, I want to have a hot farm again. You know what I mean? So, and that's just a natural progression of it. But we always look up to the big class, and that's just a natural progression of it. So, and that's where the associations that do that, and keep those rules so you can go play. And it's fun to go play in other associations and mix it up from time to time. But at the end of the day, you come home to your association and you do your thing. So it's important to do that.
Everybody wants to make their own tractor go faster by changing the rules. Well, you dumb shit. If you put a bigger turbo on your tractor in your class, then everybody's going to have to put it on, and you're going to be in the same boat you were in. Nothing changed. Yeah. If you want to go faster, go up a class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't change the class you're in that has 17 competitors in it and has all the hooks it wants. Don't change that. Go up a class if you want to go faster.
Yep.
That's
if you want more horsepower or whatever. Yep. So. But no, so Saturday at noon is when the general meeting starts, and the class, and like Greg said, the class breakout sessions. Everybody kind of goes to the corner of the room, or they go out in the hallway, or they go to an effort room, and they have their class reps, 2 class reps, I believe, for every class, and then those 2 people come back to the board, to Greg and to Dirk and everybody, and then they knock it out, and then they come back and report to the General Assembly. Then, right? Or you guys do it at the banquet, right, Greg?
We do it at the banquet. If there's any major changes, to let everybody know. Usually it's all pretty cut and dry. We kind of follow Lucas Oil's guidance on everything, and which we still will be doing, just so everybody knows, for a long. That's not over. So, but it's easier that way. It is having a parent organization that has rules in place. Yeah, let's just copy theirs, and there's no arguing.
Yep. So I'm gonna start flipping through some photos, guys, and so these are from last year. These are your light pro stock. It looks like Troy was a 2021 light pro stock points champion there.
Yep.
Troy Stradle. There's the Al Paulson. What is it? What's Al's boy's name?
Kyle
Paulson and Colin Burkholt's there on the left.
Right.
So it's fun. The banquet's great. Everybody eats. Big room. Ryan Zolik puts awesome videos together for everybody. John and Stacy are up there yakking. They always look like they came out of the Christmas Lampoon with one of their sexy suits they always put on. So that's always fun. And then we bring the classes out in the halls. We take pictures of it. And I'm just going to flip. I posted all this stuff on Facebook, or Brandon did last December. So
we usually watch the Badgers in the Big Ten championship game football this year, but we're going to be watching the Badger girls in volleyball this year, just so you know.
Yeah. I was hoping. I didn't get any text messages from you about the Iowa game because I left you alone when Iowa beat Wisconsin, Elsing. I wanted to stab you a little bit, but then I had to be quiet, and then they stinking lose in Nebraska. It's so dumb. So
yeah.
But well, it's the honor of getting to play Michigan and get thumped, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
I think it's going to be in Purdue, isn't it?
Is it Purdue or Illinois? I'm not sure who got in. So.
I think it was Purdue.
Yeah. But here's the Elsing family, promoter of the year. Kelly was not in the picture last year. I think she was homesick with COVID or the pneumonia or something.
I had to get a stand-in wife with Shelly Weezy.
Yeah, no, you did well. You did well, Elsing. I'm proud of you. So.
Right.
Hey, Schultz, I got a piece of advice for you.
Yes.
Anytime you can get a dig in on Greg, you better get it because he's usually got 2 or 3 up on you.
Oh, no, I get a lot of random text messages from Mr. Elsing, and I enjoy all of them. So, hey, where did Fickle come? Fickle is the new Badger coach. Where did he come from?
Ohio.
Cincinnati.
Ohio.
Okay.
From Ohio before that. He was a Buckeye. He is a good hire, I believe. I was hoping him and Jim Leonard could work together when I heard it, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. So I don't know. we'll see.
I think Jim's going to be wanted somewhere, I would assume. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
The Packers are recruiting him. Look at those two well-dressed guys. What's wrong with those suits? Schultz?
All I remember is like the blue ones and the green ones. You don't get all defensive on me, Strandley. You look really good in that picture, buddy. I'm proud of you. So.
Yeah.
But there's Stacy and John doing what Stacy and John do up there at the podium. So it's a lot of fun. This would have been Hall of Fame probably last year?
Yep.
Tom Funk, yeah. Corey's dad, right?
Yeah.
Corey Ryan. Yep.
And you really learn about the history of Badger State at the banquet. If you don't get to do that, you don't understand. I mean, to hear all the history of it, how it all got started. And I mean, Greg's stories are more fun of how it got started. If you get to drink with Mr. Elsing a little bit at the shop, some of those first meetings back in the day, those are more fun. But they're not for this show. So.
Tom Funk, if you don't know, pulled a pro stock case way back in the day.
Okay.
Yep.
So just neat to see the people honored every year at the banquet. Again, we're rolling through 2021 photos that were taken last year. See, okay, Travis Wildman got the Wally. That's a Sportsman of the Year. Can you kind of talk about that award, Greg, and how it's done and et cetera?
For all the awards, it's a ballot that's on the website, and all the competitors fill it out and mail it in. It's a unanimous ballot. Your name's not on it, and we add them up here, and the winner's the winner. And Travis Wildman last year walked away with that Wally Weezy Award, and we changed the Wally Weezy Award here a few years ago because anybody that knew Wally, he was a good competitor and always a good guy. Great guy, never got mad about anything. So, I mean, why wouldn't you name the award after him? He died of cancer here at age 50, I believe.
Yep.
So.
Jamie said the sleepless night. That must have been Funk's tractor, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, John, it's true. You and Stacy sound a lot alike on the mic. That would be a fun test to blindfold people and have you two talk, and then hold up like the Coke Pepsi explanation. Is it Stacy or is it John? So
I don't try either. I don't know what the deal is. Must be a mini rod guy thing. That's what Elsing would say.
Right.
You guys are a little special.
The short tire.
We are touched.
So there's Greg and Stacy doing what they do best. So
yeah.
Tom Van Huysen got a mechanical mule sled of the year last year, and then he sold the sled then, right?
Yep, to
yes.
Lupke's.
Yep.
Fritz
Lupke in Janesville, and I got to interview him at Monroe, and just before his last pass, I told Stacy I was going to go down there and talk to him, and I opened the door of the sled, and I said, Tom, after you make this pass, I said, do we have a couple minutes? I'd like to chat with you. And he was already in tears in the cab, and he says, we will. And when he backed the sled up and come over to me, he couldn't even talk. And it was so sentimental, and I was glad I was able to interview him. And he's such a great guy and been around the sport for a long time, did a great job. And it was good seeing him out and about this summer here, helping Fritz out with the sled.
Yep. I mean, in the last 10 years, Tom had that sled. He really, it got better every year. I think he had a Bauer pan built for it a while ago, and that really came out when he did that. He had Von Bauer build him a pan, I guess.
Built him a pan, and he made a bunch of changes in there. And the only thing left originally, he told me, from the original sled when he bought it was the rails.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So he went through the whole thing, and I think Fritz and them went through some different stuff this last winter too. And I don't know how much Tom had in it with it, but Fritz definitely freshened up some stuff, and I think they're doing some more stuff this winter. But
yeah,
we'll get a hold of you guys too for one of our shop tours. That'd be a fun one, Greg. I've been down to his shop. You'd probably like to go down there and see that. Fritz got 2 super stock trucks, a mod truck, and he has 2 Lukey's Tubes and Hoses in Janesville there with the sled there, and sells VP fuels, and it's a great place. We'll have to go down there.
Yeah, that'll be a good stop too.
I like it. Again, if you're just joining us live every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Soon to be sponsored by Greg Elsing's working on that. But that would be, see how I did that, Elsing? That was pretty smooth.
That was smooth. That was smooth. I'm going to work censorship of the show, and you've got to get us a motorhome, I said, to haul us around, right? So we drink some beer, and then you got to drive it around for us, too.
No, I want to do the Chinook idea, Stanley. We'll swing down Edgerton, pick up Strandman there, land on top of the house, and
right.
Crawl up like Army infantry guys, Rangers.
Yep.
So, air assault.
Oh, now we got a field right next to me. You can land right out there.
Yeah, right out there. Pick them up. Coming with the Christmas lights. Jeff Helt was your 3-0 diesel truck champion last year.
Yep.
So it proves we'll let anybody win a points championship. You don't have to be pretty. So in case Helt's watching, that was for you, Jeffrey. So
right. Pretty orange.
What'd you say?
He's pretty orange shape. He's a shape.
We have a lot of fun and we pick on each other a lot. So that's all part of it as well. So here is this would be a motley crew. What'd you say? Easily one of the best additions to Badger State in the last 10 years has been the super modified 2-wheel drive truck class. Greg always knew he needed to bring some noise, big noise, stuff that you can hear a couple miles away. And the 2-wheel drive truck class, Deppies and Timmermans that they've been your mainstays, Greg, over the years, or how did it all get started?
And who else? John remembers them all better than I. But Travis Hosley's in there, and what's his name from Bell Paints? I'm terrible at names. Paints for Ring Brothers down there.
Chad.
Chad. Yes, they've all been great guys to work with. They've all been. And they all say they enjoy pulling with us, and they don't want more than 10 or 12 hooks, and so that's what we get them.
It's perfect. No, that class has done so much for the Badger State pullers, Greg. A lot of great tractor classes, got some good diesel truck classes, but that noise class and then having John's mini rods come in from time to time really spruce up the show. So kudos to you on that and the board for making that happen. So that's Castenson. Did he get he Profar champ last year?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The gold Minneapolis Moline.
John, these would be fun memes to put up on the Facebook page and say, caption this photo. Look at old Stacy's face there. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Dan's like, I can't believe he just said that.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's the Hawthorns. They're your 2021 light limited super stock points champion.
Yep.
So Larry was still awake and it was after 8. So you got to give him credit for that. So
it was 8:03 when he went to bed, though.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, gotta get this picture taken so we can go to bed. I'm getting old. So
yeah.
Okay, this would have been the whole class. Again, it's just fun. It's fun to get them together and talking and get them standing together. And a lot of times by the night, a couple guys had a couple extra beverages. They're a little friendlier than normal, and it's a good time. It's a good time. I've been out in the hallway for many years helping wrangle these photos together, so it's been fun to all be part of that. But that's the whole light limited super stock class there. There's Castenson again. Nobody wanted to take a picture with him. Maybe he didn't shower that morning. Maybe he went to the water park, didn't think he needed to shower. I'm not sure, Dan, but
the rest of them were in the bar. They didn't even.
If the 640 class, yes, that's where they were. We could have found them not too far away. So.
Right.
I remember the first Badger State banquet where they didn't realize that tractor pullers drank Busch Light, and it was gone quickly. So
it was, and the Bud Light too. They switched to that, and the Captain Morgans. We said have 10 cases there, and they ran out of them. Now we make it 20.
Wait a minute.
John's liver just went.
Liver light turned on.
I went to the bar, got the 640 class to take a picture there with Dan. So there's some of the guys there.
Yeah.
The nice part, Schultz, about MCing there is when I get done, everybody's got like 15 laps on me. And by the time that I have a beer or two, it's like, ain't no way I'm going to catch up with the rest of these guys. So I have a couple more, say hi to a few people and go to bed.
Yeah, you never say goodbye. You just if somebody says, where are you going? I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And then they don't remember it. So
do you remember Dan on the table, Schultz?
Yeah, my wife slapped me. Yep. So I will admit I was a loose cannon those earlier years at the Badger State banquets back in the early 2009, 2010, 2000 before I had a tractor. We come up with our
You were?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah. I've calmed down. I've grown up a lot since then, John. I've grown up a lot. You should ask my wife. She has had to slap me for like a couple of banquets now.
Right? Does she even go with you anymore?
Yep. Oh, I love you.
He goes to that wilderness one. They go to, the hunting and fishing one. He doesn't know many people there.
Yeah, send me to that one. So
yeah.
Yeah, that was funny until Sarah absolutely, and it wasn't just one of these guys. It was a full whack. She said she had to get my attention. So
and she did. I seen it.
No, everybody saw it, Elsie. It's been we still talk about it. We still talking about it.
You're a trophy husband on the table, right?
Yeah. Well, she thinks that you guys judge her because of me, and I said, honey, no, they all feel sorry for you, but it didn't matter at that particular moment. So
I've been there, Schultz.
I know you have. I'm just trying to pick it up. I'm waiting for the next generation to do the fun stuff like that.
Right.
So
I'm getting.
Here's Mike Meyer, your 466 hot farm champion, with some of the other pullers in there.
Yeah, it's just the 8 there.
Yeah, I must have zoomed in on that picture. I'm sure we got more here. There they are. There they are.
Yeah, because Tracy was right out front there.
Well, I mean, Tracy is by far the best looking 466 hot farm puller. So.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
The Smith back. They let him win points last year, Stanley? Was that a Utica thing? Did you buy in on that or what?
I have no idea. It was a good year. That's all. You can't
blame them for
it. It was a good year. Yep.
Here's the super farm class. What's that, bud?
The rest of the super farms.
There they are. There they are. Again, just the banquet. Guys, we're just reviewing last year's banquet right now in preparation of a fun weekend this Friday and Saturday in the Dells at the Wilderness. This would be the 4-1 class. A good group of gangsters there having a little fun. So
yep.
That class is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, Elsie.
It is. I mean, we've got new tractors coming out. We got another one coming up. A guy bought one from down south. Is going to be a member next year, so we'll have at least 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, and I've heard some rumors that a couple of pro farm guys are going 4-1, and so, yeah, it's going to be. It'll be. I mean, for many years, hell, the pro stock class might be the biggest class next year. The way things are going, which is so good for Badger State to have a pro stock class like that. Now you just people have to start fighting over you guys where they want you, Greg. So
well, we're cutting the numbers of pulls down a couple from last year because we just can't keep them all running that long. We want to get down to that 15 or 16, I think. So, and we've got to be a little fussier on the tracks we pull on.
Yep. We should have had Kathy Gallitz out front here. I'm not sure why we hit her back there by Angle King, but there's Tom.
Right.
Maybe Tom had her tied up. I don't know. I'll have to check with Gallitz on that. So
right. See what the deal is.
I would say gangsters there. I would say suspects. You're involved.
Oh, there's me and my buddy.
Perfect example.
Hollywood. How much do you have to pay him to get him in your picture?
I just asked him nicely, and I promised I wouldn't put it on Facebook anywhere because everybody sees me, Greg, and they're like, "Oh no, this is going to be everywhere on Facebook."
Yeah.
So, I've lost some weight since last year, not as much as you have, Elsie. I'm going to put up a 2021 banquet photo and a 2022 banquet photo, but I've lost some weight compared to that. But wow, man, Elsie, you're slim, dog. So.
Yeah.
Cootsy's looking good there. I don't always hit on a guy, but when I do, it's usually Cootsy. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you better hit on the big fella.
Somebody protect me. Somebody protect me.
Right.
Cole Meyer was Rookie of the Year. So, again, all the different awards. It's just so cool to recognize everybody from the sled to the Pull of the Year, a lot of things here. And it's good to see these youngsters coming up, Greg.
It is, and I seen these kids when they're getting carried around in baby car seats and stuff, and just showing up at the polls, and just to see where they're at now makes you proud that they really still want to be a part of what all these old boys are doing.
Yep.
The Brinkmeyer kids, my kids that hung around with them, and Tom, Nick Gallitz and all these kids. It's crazy, all these kids. Kyle Paulson and Mason went to short course together, and they didn't sign up. They ended up being roommates at short course one year.
That's awesome.
Yep. So
Adam's gonna have I'm gonna have to get Adam some hair club for men there for Christmas this year. I don't know if Angie's starting to, wear him out a little bit, but Adam's a little thin up top. I'm gonna have to pick on him because I'm hoping he's watching because I'm sure my phone will blow up here in a second. So
now, I talked 2 minutes before the show started here, and he was at the gas station, so I doubt if he's watching yet. He will watch it though.
Good. That's for you, Adam.
Yeah.
There's Cootsy with all of his friends and his trophy. So.
Yep.
What good stuff.
Need friends.
That was he got driver of the year, and that's voted on by the pollers as well, right, Greg?
Yes, it is, and he walked away with that last year, and deservingly so, because he was hard to beat him last year.
Yeah, he was on fire.
Yep. When you're on it, right?
Yep. Well, there's Mr. Elsing. That looks like the Bear Booth, the American Family Children's Hospital poll guys. There's Zurzo. I forgot this guy's name right here, Greg. The guy to your left.
Dan Greenwood.
Dan Greenwood. Is he part of the Sauk County Fair Board?
Yeah, he's vice president, I think. Scott Zurzo's been president of the Fair Board for a long time, Sauk County. They are they worked their Fair Board was not on top. These guys took over, and they have one of the better fair boards you work with. We have a lot of good ones we work with, but you get some of them that how it is, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't complain, but yeah, we've got a couple that we struggle with, but we do get it done.
No, it's all good. But
these
the
guys.
best thing you ever did for the American Family Children's Hospital pool, Greg, was to move it to Baraboo. It's taking it to the next level for room, for crowd. John, I mean, don't you agree with that statement?
Very much so, yeah. Great facility, and get more people in house there, and it's just 2 tracks. It's great.
Everybody gets to pull then too, and that's one thing we'll say at the banquet. We always say too, guys, because everybody doesn't realize that the pullers don't get paid to do that event. And I always say, if you don't want to be part of it, say something. It's fine, and it won't be held against you. You know what I mean? But every one of them says, yes, this is the one pull we want to do. That's my cousin, Spencer, Bob Spencer there. He's part of the ATV club. We paid them $1,000 to help park cars and serve food. They came back and gave us $3,000 back for the Children's Hospital.
That's awesome. I did not know that happened. So that's the Bear Bluffs ATV club.
Yep.
Giving back.
Yep.
Look at Lori Schultz. She's genuinely happy, even with Stanley standing next to her, Elsie.
Right.
She is fun to work with, and she was beside herself last year. Everybody kept coming up again. Somebody come up again. Somebody come up, and she's like, "Really, guys?" And she was. I think she truly loves coming to our banquet and being there. It's just she feels right at home.
She does. So, and one other thing we do at the banquet, I talked to Dean Monty again tonight. He is going to do the tickets for a basketball game, and I think they brought like $5,000 last year. The tickets, you raffle off some 4 seats, and I've been in Dean's seats. Are 4 or 5 rows behind the visitors' bench, I believe, and they're good seats, and you get you a good game. It's a lot of fun to go there. And I want to thank Dean Monty on here for doing that. He doesn't have to do it, but he does it every year.
The real Dean Monty.
The real Dean Monty.
Please stand up. Please stand up.
I could tell a story there too, but I don't know. Should I?
Nope.
It's a funny story.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Can't tell it?
I vote.
Well, if everybody knows that Dean Monty is Tracy Paulson's uncle.
Correct.
Right? Everybody knows that.
No.
Yep.
Now they do. Not everybody, but they do now.
But Dean got me on a story. I'll clean the story up. Dean got me on a story. We have a shop party, a customer appreciation party. Monty's came over one time, and I didn't really ever, a long time ago, and Dean told me, I really didn't want, Melvin and Dean are good friends. And Dean told me, and I took it serious that he voted, didn't want Dean or Melvin in the family. And I believed him. I said, "Whoa, that's awkward, ain't it?" But they were all,
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, yeah, Dean's listening. He usually listens. If you're listening there, Dean, send us a message. Is that true, right?
Yep.
Watches the show.
Yeah, here. Yeah, please. Here, we're gonna blow up your phone. Please text Greg Elsing.
No.
608 444 7956.
I
You're
can't.
one of, and that's funny. I don't have a lot of people's cell phones memorized, actually, but I got yours, buddy. So
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
here's Cole
There
Meyer,
you go.
Rookie of the Year.
Have it, folks. There you have it, right there.
Yep. Cole Meyer, Rookie of the Year. Tom Funk, class of 21 Hall of Fame inductee, standing out there with his award. That looks like a bunch of pro stock guys right there. Yep, there's Randy Brew. He looks blushing in that photo. Is Randy doing okay in that photo? So
I think he farted right next to Elsing. That's what happened there.
Trying to concentrate. It's a struggle.
Yeah, and Brandon Coates was your champion last year, and he had a hell of a rookie season with the pro stock, him and his brother. So
Yeah, Dean just texted me, so you know. It just came across my phone here. He said, "Thank you."
It's interactive networking, Elsing. That's what we're working on, buddy.
It is. Yep.
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 And then we're back to the light pro guys there. But again, just fun to go to the banquet, have a good time with everybody, see everybody, talk about all the good stuff that we do.
Yep. I believe we're having a band again this year. I think.
Okay.
Usually we've had a DJ. Seems like more people interact with the band, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is or what's going on. I'm not in charge of that stuff, but that's
it's all good. Well, I mean, honestly, the girls like to dance. All the wives and the girlfriends, they really get into that, and that's kind of, they hoop it up on the dance floor. Then about 11:30, where all the fellers got their liquid courage, they roll out there. Dirk Drury just texted yes band, so he would know. Yep. Amy probably told him to say that, don't you think?
Right.
Hey, Dirk, ask Amy what the name of the band is.
There you go. Motley Crue, John. Motley Crue will be there this weekend.
Hey, one thing though, speaking of the girls, Amy, Kelly, Kathy Meyer, and the girls put a lot of work into the banquet and putting it all together and try and keep it tight and credit where credit is due, but there's a lot of stuff to go through as announcers, and we want to get it through and get it done, but still, do a nice job at it and give people their credit. And those girls work hard every year to put that together, and it's kudos to Amy Drury and Kelly Elsing and Kathy Meyer and whoever else behind the scenes put that together. And then either during the rules meeting or after, Stacy and I meet with them and put the finishing touches on it and go through a couple things, and it's just amazing, what they do there. I mean, they don't get thanked enough because that's basically their itinerary, and Stacy and I touch on it a little bit and deliver it, and they do a great job.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Ryan Zolik. The videos he puts together are top notch, the best of the best. And I go to a lot of banquets, guys, and his stuff is legit. And
last year, Ryan for last year was pretty good.
Yep, he does an awesome job. So trivia time here. Who ran a Pro Stock in BSTP in the early 2000s? That was a case tractor that split the frame. It was like a 1070 or 1570 model or something. Looked like Viagra King, but white and orange cage. You guys know who that is?
Carl Kahn. Split it in Freeport, I believe.
You now have a chance to win Dean Mante's Badger tickets for getting it correct. We're going to throw your name in a hat, Elsing. We're going to throw your name in a hat. So,
well, there's no winning. You have to bid on them.
No, I know. I was just trying to be funny. You should keep up with me, Elsing. I'm funny.
Keep trying.
Chad Edwards Band is the band, John. Chad Edwards Band. So.
Chad Edwards Band.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna go look for some more banquet photos. We got about 5 minutes left. So.
Well, John, a little bit about.
There.
Well, Lori coming up with the video too for the Children's Hospital video. And, it's usually like the picture of I was up there with Stacy. I always got to turn around.
Because you're crying.
And you try not to cry. I can't listen to it. And then try and speak after that. And because you turn around and here's all these tough bearded 300-pound guys, beer drinkers out there with tears in their eyes. And you got to say something, It's tough, isn't it, Stacy? Or John, I mean? Sorry.
It is hard.
It's a hard thing.
Times too that they have she brings the families with too is really hard, and
Yeah.
the outcome isn't always good for what had happened to their family, but they share their story, and I think it means so much to everybody that's there and everybody that watches, and what we do for that pull makes a difference to those families at the American Family Children's Hospital.
Yeah, just so I don't know, I probably said this before, but we're approaching $1 million raised, because we did for the first 10 or 12 years we did St. Jude, and then we were going to do both St. Jude and the Children's Hospital and split it up, and then something happened and we ended up going just with Children's Hospital in Madison. So
it keeps it local and it's in the Badger State.
Yep.
Great thing.
It is. And there's a room at the Children's Hospital called the Badger State Tractor Pullers Room. And I know there's an incubator with our name on it. I've heard, and I've never seen it, but I've heard that.
And the Badger players go around and hand out the small toy tractors. I've been there when they've done that, Greg.
Yep, we've supplied the toys, all farm toys, I should say.
Yep,
all small ones, the 60th or whatever scale they are, 8th or whatever. And the kids, they eat them up, So, and we resupply it all the time. And we didn't buy them. We got a bunch of dealers around. It was McFarland's, Hennessy, Ritchie's, and Hillsboro Equipment all donated. Each one of them donated 150 toys and to us for that. And they're still using them. So we got to find. I don't want them to run out, but hopefully they still got them.
There's John Holder, your 2021 3.6 Pro Stock Diesel Points champ. I didn't have any photos of him, so I just, I did a lot of show prep, guys. About 10 minutes before the show, I got in here and checked it out. So
yep,
he wasn't there last year.
No,
he's sick.
No,
yeah.
COVID. His whole family did, and then in the afternoon, I'd heard about it, and I called him and asked him, hey, would you want to, do an interview over the phone and thank your sponsors and the people that help you out? And he says, well, I don't know, let me think about it. And so about hour later, he called me and said, yeah, I'll do that. I want to do that. I'm like, okay. I said, well, we're down getting ready for it anyway. I said, we'll use the microphone on the podium. And I said, I'll put you on speakerphone on my phone. I said, let's just talk now and see how it sounds in the room. And it sounded great in the room. And I told him, well, Stacy's going to do the two-wheel drives. And as he gets to the end of the two-wheel drives, I'll give you a call and have you on standby. And then we'll go up and we'll talk. I said, at least the people will be able to hear you. And we'll be live on Facebook and you can, get your credit where credit is due. I mean, you won a points championship. And once I started out and he started speaking, the whole room applauded for him. It was great. And I was glad that he was able to at least participate somewhat at the banquet.
No, that was super cool that you did that, John. Guys, I had some video that I'm just real quick. I got a few minutes left. Here is the presentation of, I think this is the winner of the raffle. Is it Mike Ballwig, I think, won last year at Elsing?
Yeah, Mike Lodi. Kelly sold him the ticket.
Wow.
Yep.
So here is, I think.
Here tonight. And don't forget, you're part of that, Stacy. Grand prize.
As in that one old game, Moses Big Top, the grand prize game.
That's right. And door number one.
The grand prize is going to go to Mike Ballwig. Mike Ballwig.
$25,000.
You know Mike Ballwig? 25 grand. Don't say where it's from. It's just throw away.
And then here is so I think when it all added up last year, Greg, I think it was like $90,000 that the Badger State presented, right?
I think it was 97.
Okay. So here's that video.
Here tonight. And don't forget, you're part of that, Stacy. With everything we did here just tonight, just drawing in here tonight, a grand total with this is $91,300.
We couldn't hear you, Greg. The video was playing. What'd you say?
People come up and give money after that. They'll give their points checks. Like I know Mike and Melvin and Tracy Paulson do, and a few other people do. Just go up and give their points checks to them, and in the end, it ended up being like 97,000.
Okay.
Yep. So that was the total at that point. But by the end of the day, it hit 97, I think.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. Here's a so Ryan will go live, you guys. Ryan will broadcast this on the Badger State Facebook page for those that you can't be there. If you're a family or a Poland fan or whatever, make sure to watch live on Facebook. I got that on here from last year. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I got tonight. I'm just trying to go through everything. Again, our thoughts with the Krieger family. Butch is a legendary announcer, and nobody will ever forget about him. Yeah, guys, what else do you got?
I don't have anything, but everybody's looking forward to it. I know all during harvest season how many pullers say, I want to get done for the banquet. I want to get done for the banquet. And then a lot make it. I mean, that's their goal when you talk to them. So,
I knew the Badger State tractor pullers were fun. One of my first banquets, you just kind of walk down the hallway, and if there's a door that's cracked and you hear some fun people, 90% of the time they're Badger State pullers. Every couple times they're not, but they're still usually fun people. And you just kind of wing it and go, hey.
Well, from the government help.
There's other Christmas parties going on there, and the people that are next door to me one time, they kept crashing our parties. Hey, thanks, come on in. And they said, well, our party sucks compared to yours. What are you guys doing? We said, well,
there's always that tax accountant or something. We got to be way more fun than tax accountants.
Well, right. So they've been crashing our party for a few years. I watch the same ones do it every year, which is fine. It's no big deal. I would crash theirs if there was more fun, but it ain't.
All right, let's wrap this up. Greg, what do you want for Christmas?
A day off.
Okay. Stranley, what do you want for Christmas?
Cure for cancer.
I think kudos to that. So
on that with John.
Yep. Thank you everybody for watching another edition of Down and Dirty with Badger State Tractor Pullers. You two don't leave me. I want to talk to you for 10 seconds after I hit the end button. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your support. Like, comment, share anything you see on social media talking about truck and tractor pulling. Have a great night.
Good night.